What do you think of Chet Haze? Any idea what that is?
Oh, that's
Tom Hanks son.
Yeah, that little motherfucker.
Did you see the video of him defending his use of the N-word?
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to say and all this bullshit.
Well, let me play it for you.
Look, I know the majority of y'all are not gonna get this because the history is still so fresh in our country. But hip-hop isn't about race. It's about the culture you identify with. And can't no one tell me what I can't say.
I just want to clarify one thing. Under no circumstances would I ever go up to somebody that I didn't know and just be like, hey, what's up, my nigga? It's an unspoken thing between people who are friends who understand each other.
We interviewed one of his black friends, this rapper named Skrilla King.
He said he wasn't cool with it, right?
He wasn't cool with it.
Right.
We actually were supposed to interview Chet Haze.
Okay.
I got on the phone with him. We talked. He agreed to do the interview.
Mm-hmm.
On the day of the interview, 15 minutes before the interview,
He backed out.
he called my assistant and said, something came up, I can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And we told him, like, look, we had already booked the location. We've paid for the location. We also have paid for the cameraman to show up. This was not 6 hours. You know, we confirmed with him 2 hours before, you know, just to make double sure. The night before, 2 hours before, and so forth, because, you know, we know sometimes things come up. He confirmed with us that morning, but 15 minutes before the start of the interview, he said, I can't make it. You know, we told him, like, look, is there any way possible that you actually can come in, maybe even a little bit later, because we've already paid for these, you know, we've already paid for the location of the cameraman. He goes, nah, sorry. Hit me up later on in the week or something. You know, so he didn't, you know, didn't apologize for not making it. Didn't make plans to reschedule. That was that. Now, when the interview came out with his friend, his former friend, Skrilla King, he texted me all upset. He tried calling me and said that, why you put a nobody like that up on there? And he said, if you don't take that interview down, I'm not going to interview with you.
Motherfucker, you already did an interview with me.
Right. My thinking was I wasn't planning on rescheduling another interview with him anyways.
Yeah, fuck you.
We're done. You've already showed that you don't respect my company. You don't respect my staff. You don't respect the money that I spent on it. You know, I mean, because a lot of times what happens is when people cancel like that, they usually say, I'll pay you back for what you spent. Or they say, you know something, let's reschedule at my studio so you don't have to book another studio. This was my fault and so forth.
Or at the very least, they could say, you know what, I feel horrible for fucking canceling on you 15 minutes before, you know, but really some shit came up. I feel horrible. Yes, let's try to do this another time.
So, I'm not taking it down. And it was the reaction was kind of interesting to me, where he's trying to control the content that I have on the site,
right?
By dangling something.
Because that's white privilege. You see, this motherfucker has grown up with the epitome of white privilege all his life. This is why.
Tom Hanks is worth, I looked it up, is worth around $350 million.
Right.
As he should.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Great actor. Oscar-winning actor, I believe. Multiple Oscars, I believe. Everyone, you know, across the board respects his craft.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what his relationship is with his father. I don't know whether his father supports his rap career.
I heard his father and mother been telling him to shut the fuck up.
Oh, really?
And stop doing these interviews and shit. So maybe he was talking to dad, yeah, I'm on my way to go over to fucking Vlad TV to do another interview. And he's like, fucking Chet, what the fuck did I tell you? Stop talking to these motherfuckers. Every time you open your mouth, you're putting your fucking foot in it. That's what could have happened.
That's what could have happened.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised.
And if you go over there, you're not getting your fucking check this month. Right. Goodbye.
You're not getting your allowance.
You know what I mean? Oh,
right.
Shit.
I mean, well, clearly Chet Haze has not made any money from his rap career. He's definitely in the red when it comes to his rap career.
Right.
And, you know,
and whether he says nigga or not, it's not going to make his shit any better.
Right. And, you know, just to clarify things, I have no grudges or anything else like that. I mean, this is what I do. I interview, when you bring up something controversial, I'm going to interview people around the situation.
Right.
If I can interview you, great. If I cannot interview you, then I will interview the people around you or people who are affected by what you do. So there was no agenda to try to bring down Chet Haze or anything else like that. And, you know, and we offered him a chance to say whatever he wants in his own words. But it was kind of interesting how it all kind of went down. So, you know, that interview's out. We're about to interview, you know, about to release an interview with David Banner where he says that a white person who approaches and uses the N-word in his presence is risking physical violence.
Right.
They should watch saying the word nigga around me. If you white and you say the word around me, you might have some problems, physically.
And, you know, he said something interesting. I said, well, what about a Spanish person saying that? Because Joel Ortiz actually kind of defended Chet Haze. He said, I'm not going to tell people who can or cannot say the N-word. You know, I use it. You know, so I'm not going to say that someone else can't use it and so forth. But what David said, which was kind of interesting, was that he doesn't really, he's not as bothered by other races saying it because the other races were not the ones who used the word historically in such a hateful manner and derogatory manner and created this type of thing.
And I already told you about the close symbiotic relationship that, you know, so-called American blacks and, you know, our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, whether it be, you know, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba, you know, even though these are Spanish-speaking places, those are still black people, and I consider them as such, even the ones that are lighter skin with the finer texture hair. Like, you know, I've always come up and was brought up to look at Puerto Ricans basically as just other kind of black people. You know what I mean?
Well, you use the N-word.
Right.
In your music and in your
in my
personal life,
everyday
in your everyday life. I remember I interviewed Charlemagne, and at one point he said that he's not going to say that word anymore. He finds, you know, he at one point found a problem with saying that word, and he's not using it. But then in later interviews, he went back to using it again. I guess it was something he felt at the time, but later on reconsidered and so forth. Do you feel that black people should not use that word?
No. I don't feel that we shouldn't use the word. Actually,
like, I know black people who never use that word, who are bothered by that word,
right?
Who hate the word,
right?
And not only hate when other people say it, black or white, but they themselves never say it.
Right. And that's good for them, and that's their choice. But what is that really accomplishing? Like, let's just say we all stop saying nigga today. Is that going to stop poverty or crime, or, you know, like, what is that going to do? First of all, the original word is negus, and negus is a king. Okay? The original African word is negus. Okay? This is where it originally derived from. So, yeah, that's something.
Never knew that. Yeah.
I know. That's something that a lot of people don't know.
So you're saying that white slave masters...
No, that's not why they were calling us that.
Okay.
The etymology goes, you know, you start one place with a word, and through time, it'll get grafted and broken down, and you might come upon the word, you know, when it transferred from negus, a couple thousand years now, you got it when it was Negro, or something like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? And now you took, you know, and it lost some of its meaning. It went from king to such and such to just black, you know. And then, so now you take Negro, turn that into nigger, and you're thinking that because you think black is a bad thing, psychologically, you think just by calling somebody black, you know, you fucking nigger, you fucking black, that's derogatory. Also, a nigger in their mind is supposed to be an uneducated person, which they made sure we were at that time.
You know, I remember I talked to Moral Technique. We did an interview recently, and we talked about that word, which he uses himself. And you know, we talked about how it's used in the black community as a term of endearment, but he goes, well, not always, because we say, yeah, fuck that bitch ass word, like, you know what I mean, that's used as a derogatory use. It's not always, oh, that's my
right.
You know what I mean, it's used as that, but it's not always used as that. And I never really thought about it that way. I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not always positive. It's not always negative, but it's definitely used both ways.
Mm-hmm. That just shows, you know, the multiplicity of the word. I mean, what's the point, though?
I mean, I can't think of another word in the English language that someone refers to by its first letter. There's lots of words in the alphabet that start with the letter N. But when you say the N word, you know, everyone knows exactly what you're talking about.
If somebody says the F word, you know what you're talking about.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I'll back up off that. What's the C word?
Cunt.
Cunt?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess there was a show called The L Word, which was lesbian.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't know what that is. That's them now trying to institute their bullshit and try to put that into the lexicon. So, oh, what's the L word? Oh, that means lesbian. Nah, there is no fucking L word.
Do you ever see the word, you know, going away? Because, I mean, there's lots of derogatory terms, derogatory and non-derogatory terms in different cultures that people use amongst themselves, but it doesn't get popularized the same way that the N-word is. So, for example, like, I grew up, you know, around a Filipino neighborhood, right? So Filipinos would call themselves flips.
I never heard that.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of Filipinos out here, so I'm not surprised. But, you know, in the Bay Area, in California, there's tons of them.
Flips.
Flip.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Filipino flip.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's kind of a play off the first few letters.
Okay, right.
You know, but, yeah, that's my flip right there. You know, we're all flips. You know, I heard that growing up. But you never really heard other cultures calling each other flips and stuff like that, whereas you see Asians calling each other the N-word. Certain whites, you know, like your man Chet Haze here,
because
it spills out into other cultures.
Because, going back to our original conversation, why is that? Because black people are the producers and the seed planters of all cultures on the planet Earth. So all cultures are accustomed to taking from the black man's vernacular, his science, his you know, his everything, basically, his way of life, and adapting it to themselves. But we don't necessarily, these other cultures are not necessarily civilization producing cultures, which is why you wouldn't necessarily take from them and then it spreads to everybody. This just shows the universality of the black man. And this is nothing, and that's why our music is universal. That's why a lot of shit we do can be related to by everybody. This is why they need us as the face of all this new homosexual shit and all of that. Because if they get us on board and make it seem like we co-sign it, everybody else is going to follow suit.
Well, let's look at Empire. You watch it?
Let's look at it. No, hell fucking no, I don't watch that show.
You're bothered by Empire?
Yes.
Why?
The blatant fucking gay shit that they're trying to promote on there. I don't fuck with that.
What about the rest of it?
I don't watch the show, so I don't know about the rest of it.
Okay. I like the show. I think it's a very well put together show.
I hear you.
But on the show, you have a gay character who I believe is actually fashioned after the director of the show, Lee Daniels. Some of the stuff that the character goes through, I guess Lee Daniels went through himself as a gay man.
This is why he's purposely got a chip on his shoulder and he wants to strike a blow for gay for gay people.
I actually interviewed yesterday one of the characters on the show, this girl named Soraya. She plays the love interest of, she plays an artist on the show and the love interest of one of the sons of Terrence Howard and so forth. What she reminded me, which I had forgotten because the season ended a few months ago, was that at the end of season 1, whoever didn't watch this, I'm about to spoil it for you. Terrence Howard, who was the head of Empire Records, the head of the family, goes to prison, and his gay son takes over as the head of Empire.
Right.
So now you're going to have the head of Empire, be run by a gay man.
Right.
And and the character, the character who plays the son is actually gay in real life as well.
Of course. This is why they have no problem having, kissing scenes and all kind of
sex scenes.
Bullshit. See, I don't know. I don't watch it, but I heard that type of shit goes on. I'm not watching that.
Well, and the character that she actually plays is bisexual herself. And I actually asked her, I said, "Are you bisexual in real life?" And she said no.
All right.
She goes, so was it hard? She was like, well, I had to learn how to play that role and so forth, and but no, in real life, I'm not bisexual. And it kind of, we talked about, for example, the popularity right now of like bisexuality in the female community. So, for example, Miley Cyrus just came out as bisexual. Karrueche came out as bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've always seen this in the world, especially in Hollywood, and music, but it just seems like there's more of it recently. I was a little surprised about Karrueche.
Trust me, that nigga Chris Brown probably talked her into a threesome a couple times.
Oh yeah. Well, in fact, I had heard that the mother of his daughter, Royalty, actually was having threesomes with him and Karrueche. Yeah. And I think that he went off afterwards and, got a little...
Right. So while that's happening, you love me, baby? Yeah. Eat her pussy. Is that what you want me to do? Yeah. Okay. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that she's bisexual, but she got coaxed into eating some pussy, and now she believes she's bisexual because she's eating pussy before.
Well, I had heard that a lot of women do bisexual things to try to keep their man, and to try to please their man.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I don't know. I never asked my woman to do no bisexual shit to please me. So, what kind of man do you have, too?
Right.
You see?
So you're saying, okay, so you've never had a threesome.
I didn't say that.
So you've done some shit with bisexual women.
Yep.
Did you enjoy it?
Yep.
It's like, keep it 100.
Listen, I'm not gonna. I don't see. I'm never gonna sit here and act like I'm somebody's priest or that I'm holier than thou. Like, I'm a foul motherfucker, just like anybody else. Like, I've done some foul shit in my life. Like,
so you think that's foul?
For a girl to be eating another girl's pussy out, that's not cool. That's not right.
Did you push these girls into it?
No.
That was their thing.
They already was doing that.
Okay. You just happened to show up. Something like
Basically. That. I was invited over. Put it that way. Okay. I was invited over. And, it was kind of weird, too, because you would think, like, when you get there, you think, like, all right, this is two broads, and they both going to be all over me, right? But it turns out, one of them was a little more, how can I say, even though she didn't look like a dyke, she was a little more into girls than she was guys. So she's almost like was trying to battle me for the broad who I had been dealing with for, years or whatever.
Competition almost.
Yeah, Yeah, I didn't expect that. I was like, huh, this is weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like
awkward, huh?
Yeah, it was a little weird. Like, are you trying to battle me for my broad right now? Like, hold up, I'm a man. Like, don't try to. You can't win this fight right here. Like, all you got is licking skills. Like, you can't do what the fuck I can do. Get the fuck out of here. You know.
So it didn't end well?
No, it ended well. Yeah, they both got pounded out and all that, but some shit went on. You know what I mean? Like some pussy eating went on between two women and all of that type of shit. And am I gonna sit here? Yeah, I indulged in some shit that could be considered foul. You know what I mean?
And considered homosexual.
Well, I don't like the way that sounds, but
two women.
Yeah. Well, when you say homosexual, I think of men. I mean,
women could be homosexuals. That's what I'm saying.
I guess so.
So you were involved.
Yeah.
In a act where there was female homosexuality.
Yes, I was. More than once.
More than once.
How about that?
Me too.
But now, being said that and having indulged in that, would I go out here and promote that as being right or as being some sort of norm, or try to make you understand that, oh, this is just regular sex? Like, no, it's not. A threesome is not regular sex. Like, that's
deviant.
Just like the fucking all this other shit. So own it. If you're a sexual deviant, own it. You did some shit that's foul, or you enjoy doing some shit that's foul. You like getting sucked off by niggas, Mr. C. Like, you a sexual deviant. That's the shit you into. Admit it. Stop trying to justify it, but if it's wrong, say it's wrong. But you did it. So yeah, I did some shit that's wrong. Now this was years and years ago, but it was done. Shit, I had knowledge. I was Lord Jamar. You know what I mean? I was God. You know what I mean? So
is that type of thing looked down upon in the 5% Nation?
I don't know how much that comes up in the 5%. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest.
Okay. But you know, I mean, the whole.
Well, like, eating pussy is looked down upon.
Okay.
And like, and yeah, with rosters too. Like, eating pussy is looked down upon.
What about getting head?
No.
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 Well, no, actually. In Rasta culture, because I was very heavily into reggae at one point. I even, I was DJing for Barrington Levy and stuff like that. And I remember listening. There's famous songs. I remember
no licky, no licky.
Or like, there was a famous song by Mr. Vegas called "Heads High, Kill Him with It." No, tell the man you know you're not blow.
Yeah.
We want to hear you scream with your mouth clean. Like, what I mean? It's basically a song,
right,
about women not giving head to men.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see. Yeah, maybe some Rasta would say that too, because in the Bible, it actually says no anal sex and we talked about this before.
No oral
sodomy.
Sex.
Yeah. Sodomy is anal sex and oral sex.
Oral sex, yeah.
Can be considered sodomy. So, yeah, that certain things is not considered cool, but motherfuckers do it anyway.
Right.
And if they want to do they do, let them do the do. They the ones got to ride it out, cuz. Okay? Don't throw them under the bus. At least they ain't out hurting nobody.
Black people, we have okayed everything down to a point where our culture is gone. Black folks, for the most part, don't have nothing to say about hip-hop or R&B. It has been taken away from us.